Today on Screen It or Stream It,
romantic comedy. Crazy Rich Asians is rated PG-13 for suggestive content and language.
It is the story of Rachel Chu, native New Yorker and economics professor, who is invited on a trip to Singapore with her boyfriend.
Their relationship had been growing for over a year, but there were secrets kept.
Nick forgot to tell Rachel that he was the favored son of perhaps the wealthiest family in Singapore.
Suddenly, thrust into a Cinderella-type situation where wannabe romantic rivals start showing up everywhere, Rachel has to rise to the challenge of her changing station.
Add to that cultural clashes between Rachel and Nick's family, specifically his mother, and this slice of life, rags to riches tale, gets complicated in a good way.
It wasn't effects heavy, but instead stayed close to being about family, friends, relationships, culture, and navigating life in general for Rachel to find her place in the world.
Sounds heartwarming.
I know.
So, what are we going to rate this one?
We decided this is a great movie. So, romantic comedies, not what you would think would be my genre, but I actually really like romantic comedies for some reason, and I can't put my finger on it and pinpoint it. And so I did actually want to go see this. I was almost put off by the title.
I thought it was going to be like a comedy, like a silly, goofy, which for me, goes either way, because if it goes into the potty humor thing, which some of the stuff from the trailer made me think it might, which, well, frankly, a couple of the characters were that type, but they really got no screen time at all.
No, and it was much more on the romance side. It had a lot of heart. It had good character development.
Solid heart.
It has a lot of those things that, you can tick off on the, good movie checkbox. And I was really not expecting anything like that from this movie. I was expecting silliness. And it is not. There are some, over-the-top characters and things, but like you said, they're very mild. They're just in there as a brief comic relief, and then they're kind of gone. And even then, they're not played. They're a little ridiculous, but you could see them existing in real life.
Yeah.
And I was kind of blown away watching this movie because that's a terrible title. They should not have. I can't get over that. You should not have titled it Crazy Rich Asians.
Which it was based on a book, again, of the same title, which apparently was very popular. I had not heard of it before the movie, so.
But I just wasn't expecting heartwarming warmth, So it feels to me like the world we live in just gets, a little cruddier every day. People get meaner. Empathy is gone. The age of, holding the door over people and stopping for that guy with a flat tire and all that seems to be gone. And I notice it's also kind of gone in our cinema. Yeah. If you have a good character nowadays, we almost have to find some big giant flaw in them, or they have to have a dirty secret past, or there's a nice guy. Oh yeah, did you know he killed 40 people the other day with a hatchet? Oh, I forgot, I didn't tell you that. And I was it is so prevalent that I was expecting that out of this movie. And so you have the crazy rich boyfriend, and you're like, oh, there's got to be something. There's got to be something terrible there.
There must be skeletons in this closet.
Yeah, there has to be. And and I'm like, at some point in time, she's going to find out these horrible things he did, or he must have, done horrible stuff in high school or boarding school or wherever rich people go. And he really didn't. There were some just genuinely good people in it, trying to help her. And there were some bad people, but they weren't necessarily evil.
Right. They weren't horrible. Well, a couple of them were. But, they weren't horrible. They were just, light bad, I guess.
Well, they weren't evil. They were just not nice people.
They were very not nice. A couple of them.
Well, they were mean to her. But they weren't trying to kill her. They weren't, it was just, we don't like you for no reason. We're trying to get rid of you because of your station in life, because of who you are, because of where you come from.
They were rivals. Or they fancied themselves rivals. They wanted to be dating the guy, and so
they were mean to her from the start. The mother was mean to her because she, her station in life wasn't so that it added to, the family name. And
right, and the mother's all about the family. Apparently, you find out had made sacrifices to be the matriarch, to hold the family together and to really help it grow into what it had become. So,
but none of them were just outright. They were snotty, they were bratty, they were
harsh.
But they weren't. They just weren't evil. And
no, they had different perspectives and very good reasons for the things they believed. Although some of it was to the like hereditary, you doing to the kids what your parents did to you because you don't know any different.
But it was so nice and it was so welcoming for there just to be nice people.
Yeah.
And they were nice people doing nice things. So while people are doing horrible stuff to her, there was also people trying to help her and people supporting her, and that was great. And and the rich boyfriend, he was just a nice guy. Mm-hmm. She liked him because he was a nice guy, and he was. And I don't know, something about that just kind of makes me feel good. And I don't mean this like it's not a sappy movie. It's a romantic movie. But it's not overly cheesy. It's not, everybody's just sugar and sweet, and it's not that. It could almost be a documentary. Like this could have been following somebody with a. Now it's a super rich guy and all that, so it's an extravagant story. But there's nothing over the top to the point of it couldn't have actually existed, And I don't know.
Probably the most over the top thing was the party barge out in international waters.
But again,
that's the whole reason it was there.
I can see rich people doing that.
Yeah, no, I could totally believe it. But that rocket launcher though, that was fun.
Have you not seen the Dubai videos on YouTube and the guys?
I believe it. I'm just saying.
But like I said, this movie does things right. We learn about the characters. We learn the motivations of the characters, and not all at once. We get this nice, arc. And some people do things, and we're like, "Oh, why do they do that?" And then you learn things about them. Yeah. Oh, that's why they're doing that.
And they even saved a few nice, character surprises for the end that really made things make so much more sense. It was nice.
And you've got the character development. You've got the heart. It's got good storytelling. It's good acting. Like everything in this is just, it's one of those when you take, sometimes it is the sum of its parts.
Right.
And when you take all of those parts and you put them together, you get a really good movie. And for me, it's almost hard to tell people why this is good. It's easy when it's an action movie. Oh man, stuff blows up and there's all this. Yeah. Or oh man, it's so funny the joke when they did the thing, we just laughed hysterically. Mm-hmm. And with something like a romantic comedy, and I was actually kind of surprised at how little comedy was in it, because the trailers I saw, or I think I saw one, really played up the comedic elements to it, which they are there. But when I don't know how long was the movie, like 2 hours? I don't know. That's a good thing.
But they took all the funny parts that were just kind of little laughs, which again, not like a super funny comedy, but you put it all together in the trailer and it looked like a comedy. But there was so much more to it than that. And I think you'd said at the theater, we were both just kind of sucked in, which does not happen in most movies anymore. And be it that I've seen too many movies, I don't know, maybe that's not necessarily a good thing. But it has to be a really good one to really just draw me in, and I'm not thinking about anything else. So, and this one did that.
Well, and I didn't. Being drawn into a movie, you asked about the time. How long was it? I have no idea, and that's a really good thing. Because I was drawn into that movie. And here lately, good movies, bad movies, we've had some bad experiences at the theater itself, and we've had some noisy people on cell phones and shining lights in your eyes.
Well, just because that kid threw a bottle cap at the back of my head doesn't mean I have. Yeah, that was pretty rotten, actually.
Actually, we got an entire bag of food thrown at the back of our head.
That's true.
But I didn't get distracted during this movie. I sat in the chair and I watched it. And I got sucked in.
Nobody brought their kids, and thank you guys for that. It was all
maybe
older
people
couples,
listen,
and they used it for a date movie, which it is a great date movie.
It is,
yes.
And I loved the fact that we have this nice, I guess an arc. It's a slice of life. All right, let's say it this way. Yeah. It's a slice of life movie. And so it's almost like linear, right? It takes place over a couple of days. And
yeah, I wouldn't really, days or weeks, something like that. Not a long period.
Yeah, and so it's just this one little chunk. But we get so much in that chunk. We learn so much about the people by the things they do and how they act. And we learn so much. And I kind of actually like the fact that it was set in Singapore. It was a little bit in New York at the first.
Yeah.
But the main parts of the movie were set in Singapore. And we got to see, different things, different culture, different. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't. It was just part of the world they were in. It wasn't like slapping you in the face and going, "This is the way it's supposed to be," or this. It was just part of the movie, and so I love to be taken away. So fantasy movies I really like because you get to go to a different world or a different realm, and
you go to a grand place and see grand people doing grand things, which is always fun.
But at the same time, I love adventure movies because even though maybe they're not set in space, you go to Indiana Jones and you go through the temple and whatever. And so this one, even though it's just a slice of life movie, we get to go to Singapore and we get to see the cool buildings and the architecture, and so we still get that really great setting in there, and I really enjoyed that. And like I said, that was just one of the pieces. So it's not like I'm telling you to go watch a movie because it has a great setting, but it's just one of those pieces. Like I really can't sit down and go, well, you know what, this wasn't good and this wasn't good and I didn't like that, and everything worked so well. All
the pieces were great, from the characters, the costumes, all the actor choices. I cannot point at anyone and say, that was just a weird choice. I mean, they were all exactly where they were supposed to be. Like, everything just felt like it fit perfectly together for me. So,
and I don't like cringe comedy, that cringeworthy, and it seems to be really popular. That's where sitcoms are going and things like that. But this definitely could have went there, and I thought it was based on the trailers. And there's some characters, like you said, they show up and you're like, oh, this is, and they were awkward.
They were,
but it didn't take it to the. I mean, it was funny without being just the over-the-top, cringy, just ridiculous level of...
Plus, you could tell the way the main characters kind of interacted with him and kind of looked at him like, yeah, you're awkward. I want to get away now.
Yeah, we weren't celebrating the awkwardness or just oblivious to it. They definitely were like, okay, that's an awkward person doing awkward things, and
it was acknowledged.
Go over here. And I don't know, it was very heartwarming. I love the fact, somebody does something mean to her and she falls apart, and there's somebody there to help pick her back up.
Yeah.
And it takes different people throughout the thing. Her mother, I can't remember anything. Astrid, yes. That was exactly the one I was thinking of. Thank you. All right, so her mother at some point has to lift her up. Astrid comes in.
You were thinking about the thing on the island.
Yeah. So. And so, there's always, it makes me feel good. I know it's just a movie. It makes me feel good about humanity.
But that is why it means more to you, because it causes you to feel like, I call it a resonating. You feel this resonance with that. There's just, and it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
There's good people in the world, and they're doing good things, and they're trying to help. And again, it didn't go that super mushy, over the top.
Easily could have. Most romantic comedies do. So for me, I think of this as one that transcends its own genre a little bit, and I just call it a good movie. I don't care what genre it is. If it's a movie on that caliber, I'll watch just about anything.
And I've been trying to give it a name, slice of life, romantic comedy. And
that's the best genre fit I could give it. But
nothing seems to really...
They feel not enough. It's just a good story.
It does, but again, it makes it so difficult to tell people, hey, this is really good, you need to go see it, because you can't just pick one thing and focus on that one thing, go, oh, they did this really well, you should go see this because the special effects are amazing, or you should go see this because the setting is beautiful. There's no special effects. The setting is beautiful, but
few if any special effects.
It's just a downright good movie. They do the stuff right. It's the right people playing the parts. It's the right story. It's the right camera movements. They just do everything well, and it just comes together really well to make a fun, enjoyable movie.
And some of the music, I remember, like, most of the musical score didn't stand out to me in this one, which is fine. It worked perfectly where it was, no biggie. But I remember we noticed some of the music, they had taken some pop songs or some things. We recognized the tune, and some classic rock, but they were saying, I'm assuming in Chinese, I'm not sure what, I'm guessing that was Mandarin, I'm not sure. I'm not super versed on Yeah,
Not
it was Spanish. No, definitely not Spanish. But and that was kind of delightful too, because you hear this melody you recognize and like, oh, that's not English. So that was kind of a fun thing.
Well, and it had a couple of English words in there just to make sure you understood that was the song, you know,
make
and
sure
then
you catch it.
But yeah, and I don't know, we had talked about how score affects a film. The score was very good for it. There were, I don't want to say there's no broken characters, but like I said, a lot of times, you know, we want to give a character this super major flaw. Nobody's perfect here. I want to say that. Like, everybody's got everybody's got their problems.
They've got the minor human flaws, I guess. But none that were like tragic, fatal.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to die of it. It's not like, well, I could never talk to that person in real life because they're this. One of them's a shopaholic. You know, one of them. It's just, you know, little things like that.
You know, I didn't even think about that. Like, I didn't even blink at that because, well, they had so much money. Well, why not shopaholic? You've got the money. But I guess no, that's a bit of a flaw there. I didn't think about it though.
Will and the husband kind of pointed that out.
There's layers. Yeah. See, there's layers.
Like onions and donkeys.
What about a cake? Cake has layers. No.
Ooh, I like cake. And we're off topic.
Okay, so I don't know. We could probably talk about this one for a while. There's just so much that went right in this movie. I'd say yes, definitely watch it. I am definitely watching it again.
I don't.
No questions asked.
Because of the genre of the movie it is, it's not a big spectacle movie. So I don't know if you gain something from seeing it on the big screen. I would definitely say go to the theaters and see it just so you can see it right now.
Just because it's good.
And again, this is one of those. It's a great movie. I would watch this one again. Probably will when it comes out on streaming. It's just a lot of fun. I cannot recommend it highly enough. And to me, it's a hard sell. I almost didn't. The title wasn't good. The type of story it is just really didn't seem like it was going to sit well with me. But other people really seemed to like it, and I said, I will give it a shot. So
yeah, and that was me as well. It did not sound like what I would like. Which brings us to our streaming options. My streaming pick. I'm gonna go first. The exact same situation. Heard the title of the movie, thought, I don't want to watch that. Ended up watching it. I wish I remembered how that happened, because it's like not the kind of thing, especially at that time. We're talking 2002. So I was
not my pick then.
18, you know, liked action movies, sci-fi stuff blowing up, and someone talked me into watching The Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood. So it's just a great movie. So you've got Sandra Bullock, you've got, oh gosh, I just forgot all the old ladies' names. Sorry, ladies, y'all were amazing.
You just assumed they were old, Josh. Now we're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, they were up there. Diane Keaton, I think, was one of them, and Jessica Alba. She's not old, but she played one of the older ladies when she was younger in flashbacks. Anyway, basically, it's the story of Sandra Bullock. I forget her character's name. It was a weird name, like Tiz or something. Anyway, she has a very bad relationship with her mother, who is arguably totally insane, like just nuts, and an alcoholic. So she's a lot of fun. There's the one scene where she's very calm on the phone, asking to talk to her daughter. Of course, the fiance has the phone. He's like, yeah, trying to give it to her. And she's like, no, I'm not here. He's like, just talk to her. It's fine. And the mother's perfectly calm. And the daughter says, hello? And then the mom freaks out and starts slamming the phone. It's just a funny scene. But basically, it's about their relationship and how broken it is. And the daughter is very angry at the mother's lifelong friends, the Ya-Ya Sisterhood, which they'd been together for, I think they said 60 years or something, since they were kids. So they had just had this lifelong friendship. So that's where the flashbacks come in to several different points in history, when they were teenagers, when the main character is a young girl, and then the present day. So it's kind of all over the place time-wise. The thing that really felt similar, though, was, one, the generational difference between the mother and daughter. And some of that then spilling over into her relationships and trying to navigate that. Of course, she had the whole fiance about to get married thing. That was kind of there. But the thing that really sticks with me the most about both of them is they're just really good movies in that slice of life sort. Not really, that one wasn't as much romantic comedy, but it was slice of life drama comedy situation. And they're just both really good movies that I wouldn't have expected to like either of them based on the titles and what I'd heard, and they're just really good. definitely recommend. Sorry, I kind of rambled there. Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood.
Well, I'm going to go with a more straightforward romantic comedy, but it's one of my favorites. It's from 1995. It's called French Kiss. Seen that one?
I haven't.
All right.
Sorry, one second. I haven't seen a lot of romantic comedies because I don't like the genre, so this was kind of a hard pick for me. Anyway, French Kiss.
Oh, well, and I don't know why, I do like it. But it's much more stereotypical. It has the romance, it has the comedy. But Meg Ryan is... she's about to get married. Her fiance runs off with another woman, and he goes to France. So everybody's like, forget him. He's a loser. Why would he do that? And she's like, nah, I got to go find him and get him back and convince him, which is always a bad idea.
Always a bad idea.
So she gets on a plane, and also on the plane is Kevin Kline, who plays a Frenchman, and he is a jewel thief.
Oh, no.
And so he knows at the airport he's going to get searched, so he hides the jewels in Meg Ryan's bag. Of course, she gets off at the airport in France, and she is free to go. And he gets stopped and gets searched, and they have to let him go because he has nothing. Well, she is a mess. So this is a romantic comedy. So she is just an absolute mess. Everything, catastrophe after catastrophe. And at the same time, Kevin Kline is trying to get close to her physically, and emotionally, so that he can dig through her purse and get his jewels back. And she's just a wreck and a mess, and she wants nothing to do with him. So he's trying to be just as suave and charming as he possibly can, and she just like, blah, go away. I don't want anything to do with you. So you get a lot of conflict that comes from that. But he agrees to take her on a not on a trip. He agrees to basically be her guide, which he doesn't ask for. But again, he can't let her go. He can't let her out of his sight. But he can't tell her, I stashed a bunch of jewels in the purse. I need those back. But it was sweet. It was romantic, and it had there were some really funny moments in there, just from the whole she's awkward and weird and the conflict between the two. But it had them, and it had Jean Reno played the police inspector that was chasing him. So it was a really good cast. It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. So that's mine.
Well, and I have grown a bit over the last, how long since Yaya Sisterhood is 17 years. So I have grown a lot to include romantic comedies in things that I like. But I've decided I like the good ones. I don't like I don't like just trashy stuff.
Well,
it's got to be the higher caliber.
That's often true. A good movie is usually a good movie.
Right.
No matter the genre.
I love sci-fi, but even terrible sci-fi, nope. In fact, we were both talking about one the other day. We both didn't finish it. Independently. We weren't even watching it together. We didn't finish it, neither of us.
Oh, yeah. That one was just bad.
Yeah, it was bad. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching Screen It or Stream It.
And remember, don't take your kids to the movies on Tuesday nights, because that's when we go.